Hi, this is Monique Rhodes. I had someone ask me the other day, what was at the root? What would be the one principle at the heart of lasting happiness that I would tell them? And I think it might be this. Freedom arises when we release our grip. So much of human suffering doesn't come just from what happens to us, but from the way that we resist it, from the way that we cling to how we believe things should be. We hold on tightly to people, to outcomes, to identities, to control. And life is life. And it inevitably changes. And we find ourselves pulled into frustration, into fear, into disappointment, sometimes even into grief. And so this clinging can take many forms. Sometimes we're grasping for something we once had, like a feeling or a person or maybe even certainty. And other times we're chasing what we haven't yet reached. And we become convinced that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement, the next relationship, the next fix. And sometimes we're simply clinging to who we think we're supposed to be. This image of ourselves that doesn't leave any room for mistakes or growth or softness. But life moves. Life evolves, it shifts, it unfolds in ways we can't always predict or control. And if we try to hold it still, so if we insist that things remain just as they are or become what we imagine, then we suffer. So letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean apathy or detachment or pretending not to care. It means we stop fighting the reality of what is. And we learn to meet life where it is, not where we wish it was. We soften our grip and we allow space. I worked with someone last year. She'd been married for over a decade, and her struggle in her marriage wasn't abuse or betrayal or some clear fracture in the relationship. It was much quieter than that. Her pain came from the quiet disappointment that her partner didn't express love in the way she had longed for. So he wasn't emotionally demonstrative. He didn't write her long birthday cards. He didn't initiate heart-to-hearts. He loved her. He loved her steadily. He loved her sincerely, but not in the language that she most hoped to receive it. And for years, she really held on tightly to this idea that he should change, that if he loved her enough, he would. And her suffering wasn't simply about his behavior. It was her inability to let go of the version of love she thought that she needed. And so in the work that we did together, she began to see that her fixation on what was missing in her marriage had closed her off from what was already present. And when she stopped clinging to the story of how things were supposed to be, she was actually able to soften toward what was. And that didn't mean that she silenced her needs or abandoned herself. It meant that she chose to engage with reality as it is, not as she had imagined it. And in that space between grasping and letting be, something shifted. There was more ease. There was more compassion, not just towards her husband, but towards herself. So letting go is a practice. It's not something we do once. It's something that we return to again and again. So each time you feel yourself tighten into this fear, into this control, into this expectation, you can pause. You can breathe. You can gently ask yourself, is this something I need to hold on to so tightly? And when you begin to loosen your grip, you actually make space for clarity, for warmth, for the possibility that life, even in its imperfection, can still meet you with moments of deep beauty and connection. True happiness doesn't require perfection. It asks only for presence. And presence becomes possible when you're willing to let go. Just enough to meet life exactly where it is. I hope this is helpful. If you like what I teach, please subscribe. I'd love to get to know you better. As always, be kind. Take care. Go gently in the world.